And so,
Well, if it ain't battling Murdoch. 10 years ago, you kicked me out of your dressing room when I offered you a deal. But I knew you'd come around sooner or later. Sure, I'll get you some fights. And you won't have to take a dive either. Just because I'm a really soft-hearted fool. Here, sign this contract.
with trembling fingers, the middle-aged fighter grasps the pen as a drowning man would clutch at a straw. And then,
This is the luckiest day of my life. Now I'll be able to send Matt to college. I don't have a thing to worry about.
excitedly, the joyful prizefighter rushes to his apartment, only to find...
Matt! Wait till I tell you the news! Matt? Not here.
As fate would have it, Matthew Murdoch at that very moment is returning from the library, taking the most important few steps of his entire life.
Gee, you'd think someone would help that blind man across the street. Say, mister, can I give you a hand? He didn't seem to hear me. He might be deaf, too. Say, there's a truck turning the corner, coming towards him.
Hank, slam on the brakes! Someone's crossing in front of us!
I can't! Something's wrong! She won't stop!
Without a moment's hesitation, his supple muscles responding to the emergency with the speed of thought, Matt Murdoch hurtles toward the scene of impending disaster.
He won't have a chance unless I can reach him in time.
The swift-moving teenager hurls the unsuspecting blind man out of the truck's path, but he himself is not so fortunate.
He saved that man's life!
Most heroic act I've ever seen.
But a cylinder fell from the truck. It struck his face. Is it something radioactive?
Don't just stand there! Someone call an ambulance!
Later, at Municipal Hospital,
Your son is a very brave lad, Mr. Murdoch. You must try to be equally as brave in the days ahead.
If only it had happened to me instead of him. If only I had been there.
Don't, Dad. It could be worse. Even if I do lose my sight, at least I'm alive.
and days later, after the injured boy returns home,
Good news, Matt. The doctor's report says that an operation may restore your sight in a few years, after the tissues have healed.
That's great, Dad. Until then, don't worry. I'll still keep up my studies. Using books written in Braille, I'll get my diploma yet. You'll see.
But in the days that follow, Matt Murdoch studies more than the written word. He begins a still more intensive program of physical exercises.
I don't get it. Ever since my accident, I seem to be able to do everything lots better than before, even without my sight. It's as though nature made all my senses far more powerful to compensate for my blindness. I wonder, could the radioactive elements which struck my eyes have anything to do with my increased powers? Stranger things have been known to happen.
But whatever the explanation, it is a supremely confident, self-assured Matt Murdoch who finally graduates from high school and is eagerly accepted by the director of admissions of State College, where we find him sharing a dormitory room with his new buddy, Franklin Foggy Nelson.
Matt, you old hound dog, how do you do it? I study like a demon, but you just breeze through the courses with all the top grades.
I guess my dad deserves the credit, Foggy. He had me study so hard when I was younger that it all seems to come easy to me now. And I wouldn't be surprised if that radiation I absorbed in the accident doesn't have something to do with it too. Everything seems easy for me now. All my senses are razor sharp. My hearing is so acute that I can tell if someone's in a room with me just by hearing the heartbeat. And I never forget an odor once I smell it. I could recognize any girl by her perfume, or any man by his hair tonic. Even my fingers have become incredibly sensitive. I can tell how many bullets are in a gun just by the weight of the barrel. While my sense of taste has become so highly developed that I can tell exactly how many grains of salt are on a piece of pretzel. But my most important new ability is in the form of a built-in radar that I seem to have developed. It enables me to walk anywhere safely without bumping into anything. I feel a strange tingling sensation when I approach any solid obstacle, warning me which way to turn.
Say, son, want any help crossing the street?
No thanks, I can make it. Little does he suspect I can cross more safely than he can, for I have every one of my remaining senses working at absolute peak capacity.
Meanwhile, the career of battling Murdoch takes a surprising turn.
Here's your dough, Murdoch. Keep it up and you may be champ someday.
I can't believe it, Fixer. It all seems like some kind of miracle.
Then, after Murdoch leaves,
wait till the old fool finds out that all his fights were setups. You paid his opponents to take a dive.
Sure, I did it to give Murdoch a build-up, to draw the crowds. But he'll learn the facts of life in his next fight. That's where I get him to take the count.
And a few days before battling Murdoch's latest fight.
Footsteps. I can tell by the weight. The distance between each. It's Foggy Nelson.
Hey, Matt, wait up! I want to read you the sports headline. It's about your dad. He's fighting Dynamite Davis tomorrow night in New York. How about that? Want to go?
I've already got the tickets, Foggy. One for each of us. I read the headline before, just by running my finger over the page and feeling the impression of the ink.
And so, the next night...
Fixer said I have to take a dive in the first round tonight.
And in this corner, the middle-aged sensation, battling Murdoch!
But my boy's here tonight, to root for his dad. I've always trained him to do his best. I can't disappoint him now.
Murdoch, you fool! Take it easy. What are you doing? If you're trying to double-cross me, you'll live to regret it. You're supposed to take a dive now, here? Dive!
He's winning, Matt! Your dad's pulverizing him! Yoo-hoo!
I know it. I can follow the fight perfectly by hearing the sound of each blow, each footstep.
It's my one chance. Maybe my last chance to do something, to make my son proud of me. I'm not gonna fail. I'm gonna win, do you hear? I'm gonna win!
Call it a miracle. Call it pure willpower, sheer determination. Call it what you will. But a few seconds later...
The winner, battling Murdoch!
And then, in the dressing room...
You did it, Dad. You proved that nothing's impossible if a man has the courage, if a man's not afraid.
I wanted you to be proud of me, Matt, my son.
But in the back seat of a dark sedan which quietly pulls away from the stadium...
Nobody double-crosses the Fixer. You know what to do, Slade.
Yeah, boss. I know what to do.
A few minutes later, as Matt's happy father leaves the gym...
No matter what the Fixer does, I won't care. My son is proud of me. Nothing can ever change that now.
Suddenly, the sharp explosive sound of a gunshot destroys the silence of the night and ends one man's reverie forever. Within seconds...
It's battling Murdoch. He won the big fight tonight.
Somebody must have been awfully sore about his victory, and we're not gonna rest until we find out who.
Nothing I can do for him. It's too late.